Hello and welcome back to Behind Clean Lines. Once again, I'm your host Mikkel Svold, and today we have an episode where we dive into the heart of product optimization and hygienic optimization of products to the food processing world. Now, one of the questions is, can hygienic design truly give companies a competitive advantage and a competitive edge? That's one of the core questions that we hope to shed some light on. And to do this, we have once again invited Theis Philip Jensen, who is the president of sales at DriveTech. Theis, great to have you back. Welcome.
Thank you, Mikkel. It's great to be back.
And I think just to get us started, I know that this is basically the entire, purpose of the podcast series, but can you just briefly explain why is hygienic design even important? Just brief.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the briefest way to do is to say hygienic design equals safety, basically. And then for some industries like food processing, it's of course more important to have safety than others. But for most industries, I would say that hygienic design is providing that safety edge, which is really, really important.
Mm. And I know that in a lot of the prior episodes, we've talked about the movement from say, cooking in your kitchen, so buying raw food and then cooking it back in your kitchen, and now turning more into fully processed foods that you buy and that you don't re-cook, so to say, in the kitchen. So that, of course, puts some strain or it sets some demands for the hygienic processes at the food manufacturing.
It surely does. I think that's one trend that is important to mention. And then besides that, then you also have regulations, of course, because of a trend like this, and other trends that are looking at enhancing the need for hygienic solutions. So it's important to stay in the forefront of it.
And now, looking a little bit at DriveTech, how are you working with hygienic design, and how does your product strategy align with the principles, I guess, and the principles and innovations within hygienic design?
Yeah, so if we look at our solutions, what we do offer is a synchronous drum motor. And a synchronous drum motor in itself, compared to the alternatives like an asynchronous drum motor or even a gear motor, is more safety optimized. So basically our solution, it's oil-free. Mm-hmm. So there is a no risk of oil leakage. There is not a lot of maintenance either, where there is also a safety risk. And then it's more efficient. So in its core, the technology is definitely more hygienic and provides a higher level of safety.
Mm. And how are you incorporating this mindset into innovating your products? Is it something that you actively think about or talk about?
It surely is. I think it's important, of course, not just to sit still and say, in its core technology compared with other in the category, then we're, let's sit here and then we have a good solution. No, that's definitely not enough for us. As you've heard in the other episodes also, we do invest heavily, and we do invest heavily in ensuring a high level of hygienic solutions and innovative solutions, and we believe it's important to continue doing so, and because of many different trends like we talked about earlier, and also because of stricter regulations. Mm-hmm. So when we look at our roadmap, then everything we have planned for concerning DriveTech, our synchronous drum motor, is looking at optimizing hygienically. It's also looking, of course, at other parameters, but hygienic design is definitely a key priority.
And do you think, when you look at the market in general and to your clients and I guess also to your competitors, can hygienic design and the sharp focus on hygienic design and the continuation of innovating within this field, can that actually foster competitiveness? Can it give you an edge in the market?
Yeah, definitely. It's so as mentioned, there are trends in mega trends like food processing moving in a certain direction because of customer needs. There are law regulations that are moving in a certain direction, requiring you also have certifications. So it is important to be the leader. It's important to invest heavily in hygienic design. And that we have done for many years, putting us in this leading position now. We've worked closely as an advisor with our many customers. and that ensures that they are also with their customers and with their solutions, they are in the forefront. So we've seen this over many years, and we believe there are more trends now than ever before moving in this direction, and it's important, of course, to continue that focus. We see this with all our partners.
And does that go for all regions in the world, or is it just a Europe-based thing?
No, I would say it goes for all regions, but of course there are differences in how far a specific region is with what concerning hygienic design, like concerning other parameters. But it is something that's important in all regions.
Where do you see the most potential for innovating and for enhancing, improving, well, I guess the entire industry?
Yeah, that's a good question, Mikkel. The most potential, looking at ensuring that I think when you've looked at what have been done over the last many years with what concerns hygienic design, it's been small steps. I think the many industries, food processing as an example, we're now at a point where you're looking more at total solutions, ensuring every single step is hygienically optimized, and there are, as mentioned, also the demand. So that's of course pushing in the right direction, but it's also a matter of now industries having worked with hygienic design for many years that are now enabling a situation where we start to look more holistically, and it actually becomes a key priority. So you have it larger up the agenda, and I think that provides an opportunity for innovation that becomes more holistic.
And what do you mean when you say holistic?
I mean, when you look at a solution, you have, of course, components that we deliver, as an example, that are hygienic, and there's a need for that. But we and our customers, and if you are leaders in this, you need to look at having a complete solution. You look at the complete picture of being hygienic.
Do you find a lot of resistance to kind of following this change, or is it something that industry wide, that in the production they're very willing to say go into this transformation?
No, I wouldn't say there's a lot of resistance, and of course it differs, and it's a matter of having worked together for many years, and together being further educated in the priority of it, and so forth. But of course there are still it's not something that is the top priority for most of in the industry. So that's also, of course, what sets us apart, and the good relationship we have with the customers to move that way. But it requires a lot. It requires a focus, because being, of course, when you enhance on a parameter like the hygienic design, that also means that you might be looking at a different price level, a different complexity in the changes compared to what you've been used to. Not that there is a lot of complexity, but it's a change, and with every change, comes a transformation, and for some it takes longer, and for others they move fast. And now there's been a mass that has moved in that direction, and then you see a quicker shift.
Are we over the first movers now? Is it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I would
Okay.
say yes.
And is that, do you think, because of pressure?
Maybe not in DriveTech, but I would say in when we look at our hygienic design overall, then yes, and then you have categories that are maybe lacking a little bit behind. So DriveTech, as an example, we're still in the first mover. We still have a really small percentage of a total motors where you have a synchronous drum motor, which is the most hygienic one in itself. So there you could argue that we were in the early phases.
I'm interested how some of the say the innovations within DriveTech, how are you driving those? How are you driving the innovation?
Driving the innovation in DriveTech.
No pun intended. Yeah. But what do you actually do?
So we talked a little bit about this in our last episode also. I think there are many different things that are important, but two things that we do especially well is that we have the right capabilities, and we have the newest knowledge within the area, both for the synchronous drum motor technology and within hygienic. And those combined make us in a position where we're able to take the right long-term decisions also. And then secondly, I would say our close partnership with our customers and our partners, because you can have all all the great knowledge within a certain area, but if you're not able to apply that and understand what it really means in the real world, then you don't get far. Then you start having some fancy roadmaps that cannot be used by customers. So it's that combination, and that's a difficult combination to hit, because typically you would lean towards one or the other. But I think where we are, we managed that really well. Basing on customer insight, partner insights, and working closely together while having the knowledge to understand where are we in this space in a longer time frame.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what are some of the insights that you get from your customers, from your collaborators?
Yeah, so without going into specifics, because there are cases where we work closely with our customers, but of course it is when we have a certain technology, it's how do you apply it? Does it really work for you based on the intention? Is there something that we missed? Because when you're sitting and developing a product, even though you think of the application, and we do have a large test setup, there are things that you miss in the process.
Yeah,
there are things where you don't fully understand the application part of it, especially application part, I would say. I think the core technology and so forth, product development wise, we typically hit really well, but the application part of it, what is really important, and we start having that conversation early on. Of course, it informs the development of products, but you also need to have it in the later phases of the development.
And that, I guess, entails a lot of talking to the client,
yes,
or to the customer, and maybe even some testing at their site.
Indeed, we also do a lot of testing with customers, and I would say for many, when we start talking about this, you would think, then I have another activity in talking with the customers. That's not how we look at it. It's an integrated part of the process. But yeah, we do also, of course, run both tests here and test with customers on our solutions. And
now, when I'm interested in when customers come to you and say, okay, we need this problem, is that typically because there's a business case behind it, or is it or what is the business case? Because I guess it's the machine builders coming to you and say, we need to change this part of our machine, and how could DriveTech help us here? But what spurs that initial request?
It could be many different things. I mean, when we look at DriveTech, then specifically it could be, when we also talk safety, hygienic, it could be that you have had for many years with your asynchronous motors, you have had a oil leakage challenge, or because it has difficulties in some speed dimensioning, it runs out. So you're doing a lot of replacement, you're doing a lot of maintenance, and besides that, there's the safety. So efficiency and safety is what we typically would see in a business case. And yeah, it could be customer driven. There is a business case forward, and that informs a development, and there is a good development process. And then often it's also where we have development happening, and we see, of course, the customer cases going in the same direction. We start testing. So it's both ways that it's initiated, I would say. But for DriveTech, it's efficiency challenges there has been, pain points, and it's safety pain points that we also see.
And that's food safety, basically.
Yeah, food safety. Safety. And for other industries, you could see where safety is not that important. It's important for all, but where, food processing, it's really, really important. And within food processing, as you mentioned earlier on, it also differs, in importance, but in general, of course, it is important. And that's where safety is needed. Yeah. And also why we work with certifications in our different categories, ensuring that we have the highest levels of certifications for innovation.
Yeah. Now, if other businesses are looking to improve their competitive stance also through hygienic design, what piece of advice could you provide them with?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think in today's world, it's definitely a critical element to have included in your strategy as a machine builder. You need to be, depending on the industries you target, you need to think of hygiene and efficiency and quality and innovation, and you need to consider it at equal to other parameters. And I think that's the advice I would give, is to get hygiene at an even parameter to other things like efficiency.
Do you find that it's not?
No, as mentioned, I think for most we're not in the first mover, but I mean for DriveTech specifically, I think we still see an opportunity for more to think to when you get hygiene up there and with efficiency, then you see that choice as the choice for you to take in order to stay competitive.
Thank you so much. We've already run out of time, more or less. So, is there anything that we need to wrap up now, or have we covered this topic, you think?
No, I think we covered it well, Mikkel.
We covered it.
Yeah.
That's
You asked some good questions.
Thank you so much. Okay, Theis, thank you so much for offering your insights into this particular part and into how DriveTech works with hygienic design and innovation. And of course, to our listeners, if you enjoyed the discussion and want to stay updated on future episodes, hit that subscribe button and you'll help both yourself, but also others find this podcast in the meantime. And I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.